It is 7 o'clock. I will call to order the regular Housing and Redevelopment Authority meeting of the City of Richfield. It's June 16th, 2025. We will start with open forum. Is there anyone here for open forum? No? Seeing no one? You can always refer to the HRA agenda and minutes webpage for additional ways to submit comments. We'll start then with approval of the minutes for the Housing and Redevelopment Authority work session of May 19th, 2025, and the regular Housing and Redevelopment Authority meeting of May 19th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any comments, questions, or changes? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes have been approved. Takes us to item number 1, approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments, questions, changes? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda has been approved. Takes us to item number 2, the consent calendar. Executive Director Palin.
Thank you, Chair Vries-Daniels, members of the board. The consent calendar contains several separate items which are acted upon by the HRA in one motion. Once the consent calendar has been approved, the individual items and recommended actions have also been approved. No further HRA action is necessary on these items. However, any HRA commissioner may request that an item be removed from the consent calendar and placed on the regular agenda for HRA discussion and action. All items listed on the consent calendar are recommended for approval. Item A, acceptance of the Housing Program Evaluation Final Report. And item B, consideration of the approval of program guidelines for the Woodlawn Terrace Cooperative New Manufactured Home Purchase Program. And I submit these items for your consideration.
Thank you. Is there a motion, or would anyone like to pull anything off?
I'll move to approve both items.
And I will second that.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The consent calendar has been approved. Item number 4, public hearing. I will send it over to Executive Director Palin to read.
Yes, thank you. Assistant Director Julie Urban will present the report tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair Vries-Daniels, members of the HRA, back in 2024, the Housing and Redevelopment Authority approved a preliminary development agreement with JO Companies and its affiliates for the development of affordable housing on HRA-owned property located at 6501 and 6525 Penn Avenue South. In the agreement, the HRA agreed to consider financial assistance for the project in an amount up to $1.485 million by selling the redevelopment property to the developer at a reduced cost of $500,000 and to provide financial assistance from the Affordable Housing Trust Fund in an amount up to $485,000. In December of 2024, the developer received an award of federal low-income housing tax credits along with other assistance to finance the development. The developer is now asking the HRA to approve the sale of the land and financial assistance through a contract for private redevelopment with the developer's affiliate, Penn Station Apartments, LLLP. Staff is recommending that the HRA provide that level of assistance that was contemplated in the agreement. However, we recommend doing so solely through a reduced land price of $1. This allows the HRA to assist the property while reserving funds in the Affordable Housing Trust Fund for future programs and projects where the HRA does not own the property and have the value of land to contribute. I would also add that the funds that were used to purchase and demolish buildings on that property did come from 3 different tax increment financing districts, 2 of which have since been decertified. So if the HRA were to receive any sales proceeds for the property, these funds would have to be returned to the TIF districts, and when there are 2 decertified TIF districts, that becomes not only administratively complicated, but then the money actually goes back to Hennepin County to be redistributed to all taxing jurisdictions, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but from the HRA's perspective, it's helpful to have that money to invest in our community and do the work of the HRA. So the proposed development meets several housing goals of the city and the HRA by providing a mix of bedroom sizes at various affordability levels, including deeply affordable units, accessible units for people with disabilities, and housing with supportive services. This project also revitalizes a blighted corner of Penn Avenue. The mix of affordability includes 16 units affordable at 30% of the area median income 18 units affordable at 50%, 8 units affordable at 60%. 13 of these units will receive rental assistance along with housing supportive services through Simpson Housing Services. Some of the units will serve people with disabilities and others formerly homeless households. The project provides a mix of 1, 2, 3, and 4-bedroom units, and the affordability levels will be preserved for 40 years. The City Council did approve land use approvals for the project on June 10th. And I would also point out that we do call attention in the motion to the idea that the HRA attorney and the executive director would approve any final administrative non-substantive changes to the declaration or to the contract and the declaration that a lender or investor may require. In the case of these types of projects, there are multiple funders involved, and while we want to be cooperative and understand that they often have needs in the documents that are necessary to make the project go forward, we also want to protect the HRA's interests. So again, anything administrative that may come up at the last minute from lenders, we would ask that you give that authority to the executive director and HRA attorney, but anything substantive we would return to you for review. So with that, I am here to answer any questions, and a representative from the development team is also here if you have any questions for them.
Perfect. I will open the public hearing first, and then maybe we can do the rest. So any resident wishing to participate in the public hearing, you can proceed to the podium one at a time and provide your name and address prior to your comment. We will hear your comment, and if you would like staff to follow up, you can include your name and phone number or email on the sign-in document located at the podium. To ensure everyone has time to speak, each comment will be limited to 3 minutes in length. And as a reminder to residents, the public hearing is a time for the HRA to listen but not to respond. If questions are asked, they may be addressed as part of the council or part of the HRA discussion on the issue, and staff will follow up after the meeting. And again, this is the public hearing for the contract for private development with Penn Station Apartments LLP and sale of land for the development of 42 units of affordable housing. And it is now open. And seeing that there's no one here for the public hearing, I would move that we close the public hearing.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any comments, questions, or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor to close the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The public hearing has been opened and closed. All right. Is there a motion? Do we want to ask questions first?
I've got a question.
Yes, go ahead.
So, Assistant Director Urban, you mentioned that if we had done it the way originally anticipated, the money would go back to the TIF districts, or at least some portion of it. Is that 900, like all of the proceeds would go back to the TIF districts, or a lesser portion that was related to the cleanup of the site?
6501, we used it to pay for demolition, and then we also used it to acquire 6525. And just the way it worked out, it ended up being these 3 different districts.
Okay, got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, go ahead.
So I would move to adopt a resolution approving a contract for private redevelopment, authorizing the sale of Housing and Redevelopment Authority-owned property located at 6501 and 6525 Penn Avenue South to Penn Station Apartments LLP for the development of 42 units of affordable housing. Also to authorize the executive director and HRA attorney to approve any administrative, non-substantive changes to the contract and declaration of restrictive covenants, and authorize the chair and executive director to execute any subordination agreements required by the principal lender or lenders.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any comments, questions? Yes, go ahead.
If staff can just confirm it's okay for this to be one motion? We got yelled at by the city attorney in a council meeting.
Yes, it is okay in this instance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, go ahead.
Well, I just want to make kind of a comment. What my first was about me is and definition of roads in the wrong place is a weed, and I kind of think that analogy for me personally kind of fits this project as stated in the presentation, I mean, it was, this project brings so many great attributes to our community. Some homes of deep affordability, multi-bedrooms in a multi-dwelling project, accessibility. And a developer has an impressive developer who has an excellent track record of building quality homes. But the difficulty I have with the project, and I know I noted this early in our discussions about this about a year ago, is that it's 100% residential, and the nature of residential, it's 100% residential, is it quiets the neighborhood. I probably have kind of a somewhat unique perspective on this Penn Avenue corridor because I've been involved with it for many, many years. I served on visioning task forces in the past that are so long ago, they seem like another lifetime ago. And I remember during those public forums, it's like it was expressed that people wanted this commercial district to remain commercial. And I just, we haven't had public forums in recent times, so I don't know if that sentiment still exists or doesn't exist. But generally speaking, I think people still dream of this Penn Avenue corridor as being kind of this vibrant area that people come, they come to shops. I know that signs have gone up about the redevelopment of Penn Avenue, the street, is going to start in 2028. And I think people have always dreamed about this vibrant commercial corridor. And, if tonight, if we were looking at a mixed-use development where it was commercial on street level and residential on the upper levels, I would be just elated tonight. And I know that that's more challenging to finance, it's more challenging to build and to manage. But, well, we know it's not impossible because we see developments like that all over the Twin Cities. I know there's always a desire to get something done because we have this empty lot, we have this dilapidated old Canine College building, and yet on the kind of the balance of that is like, once we have a development there, it's there for the long term. I would expect this building to outlive all of us in this room because that's, of course, is the nature of things. So to a certain extent, this is a really difficult vote for me tonight, and to a certain extent, I feel that it's potentially a step in the wrong direction because unlike like the Novo building and the Lansby building, which are just at the very edges of the commercial district, this is, right in the middle of the district, taking up quite a bit of land, not quite a block, but quite a stretch of land. And so I guess tonight I just want to express that this is a difficult vote for me.
Thank you. Anyone else? Let's go ahead.
I'll just say in response to Commissioner Hanson, because I appreciate you sharing those thoughts, and I appreciate especially your advocacy for so long for this corridor. I also, wish it were an even better project. I wish it were mixed use, and I do think back to a work session we had several years ago, I think when I was on maybe planning commission still, and we heard different proposals, and there's still a proposal that I thought would have been a better use of the site. But that's been a long time since that proposal was on the table, and there is a lot of land out there. I'm just looking at Google Maps and seeing across the street is just like 100% like dilapidated parking lot. There's a lot of potential land here, and this site, especially without the Oliver Avenue side, is just a very awkward site. It's even less than a standard block depth because Penn Avenue has an extra large right-of-way. It's very sloped. The county is very stubborn about their access. It would be really hard to use this commercially, at least without also buying properties on Oliver, which, as we know, we can't force. It would only be if we had a developer willing to do that and property owners willing to sell. I think with those constraints, this is a good project, not only because it fulfills an affordable housing need that we have, but because it also is a good example of being able to fit kind of a Richfield-sized building. Novo, for its many positive qualities, is not really a Richfield-sized building. It took 7 lots consolidating, moving streets around. This shows that you can fit a decent building that serves a decent need on a tricky site of about an acre, I believe. And I think that's good precedent. It is not going to be as lively, I can certainly admit, as a proper mixed-use development would be. But I think given the constraints of the site, given the constraints of the financing, they've been able to get a pretty active use going on the main floor, and I think it will contribute positively to the district. I obviously would not want to see a whole corridor of this, and if we get 3 more projects like this in a row, I might start to feel differently. But at this point, I feel like this is still a step in the right direction for this area, even though it's not commercial.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yeah, I feel like we have seen multiple proposals and talked about this through kind of my time on the HRA and the Planning Commission. And so I appreciate comments from both my colleagues here. And as someone who lives right around the corner from this, I too would have loved mixed use, but knowing how challenging that is, and then also knowing, we need more people to support the businesses that we have. I recall seeing a study that was shared probably a couple of years ago now, just kind of relaying that kind of more, we need some more people to support those businesses. And I do think this is an incredibly challenging site, and I am impressed with what we have been able to build on this site, or will be able to build on this site. And so I am excited for this. All right, there has been a motion and a second. If there's no further comments and seeing none, all those in favor for approval say aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
The motion passes. All right. That takes us to item number 5. Executive Director Palman.
Yes, thank you, Chair, members of the board. Julie will also present the staff report.
Thank you, Chair Breeze Daniels, members of the HRA. Sorry, I wasn't quite ready for the long contract in the way here.
In varying sizes, and my screen goes up and down every
Oh,
time.
look at that. Okay. Thank you.
Page 122.
I got it.
That helps.
Okay. Chair Breeze Daniels, members of the HRA, the Deferred Loan Program offers no-interest deferred loans up to $30,000 for housing maintenance and repair projects to homeowners earning less than 80% of the area median income, prioritizing those who earn less than 50% of the area median income. The loan is repaid upon the sale of the home or forgiven after 30 years. The program in its current form began in 1984 and was administered in-house until 2004 when it was transferred to Hennepin County. At the conclusion of the 30-year term, the loan is forgiven. Historically, funding for this program came from federal dollars passed through Hennepin County to local governments that, if repaid, would be returned to the city and used to meet other housing needs. Hennepin County has decided to move to an all-suburban county program model where the program operates at the county rather than the local level. As part of these changes, any repayments to loans would be returned to the county for use at their discretion and not necessarily recirculated to benefit city residents. Richville is the only city in Hennepin County that maintains a 30-year repayment period for these loan funds. Adjusting to a 15-year repayment period and forgiving the loans of homeowners who have made it past 15 years into their 30-year term will bring the city into similarity with neighbors and reduce staff time spent on servicing subordination and forgiveness requests. Staff recommends that the Housing and Redevelopment Authority allow the forgiveness of the 57 loans that are currently older than 15 years in order to keep the benefit of these funds with local residents. And I would point out and remind you that this is something that we discussed last month at the work session on the housing program evaluation. It was something that came out of that and that folks expressed support for at that time. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Anyone have any questions, or is there a motion?
I move that we adopt a resolution authorizing the executive director to change the term for deferred loans to 15 years and forgive all loans older than 15 years.
A second?
It has been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? Yes, go ahead.
I think this is a good move to have. I think it's fair to the Richfield residents if the rest of the county's on that 15-year to put us on an even par with that. And if somebody has stayed there for 15 years, they have pretty much fulfilled the spirit of the loan. So I think that this is a good policy change.
Anyone else? All right, there's been a motion and it's been seconded. Seeing no further comments, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. All right, item number 6, HRA discussion items. Are there any HRA discussion items? Yes, go ahead.
Well, I guess I would just say I really appreciated the State of the Community event that we had last week. Commissioner Supple, in her role as mayor, gave a speech and many information tables throughout the city hall. And the thing that really impressed me is the citizenry that would come here. I think it really demonstrates we have a very engaged citizenry they're interested in the future of their city, how their city is being run. And that night I was staffing the Friendswood Lake booth, but all positive comments about people very optimistic and uplifting about how our city is headed.
Excellent. Anyone else? All right, item number 7, the Executive Director's Report.
Yes, thank you. I have a couple of announcements today. First, some good news with some funding updates. The city was successful in its request for a trust fund match from Minnesota Housing. We were awarded $150,000, so that is exciting, and we'll plan for that in our upcoming budget. And then also, the Penn Station project that you just approved a contract with was awarded $303,000 in TBRA funds from the Met Council. So exciting news there as well. A couple other announcements. The HRA and EDA will have training on our new agenda management system coming up in July and August. So watch for an email on that. Council members will have already gone through that training, but those of you who are solely on the HRA will get that training in July and August. We're excited about that new system. And then a reminder that on the 24th, you're invited to a joint work session with the council to talk about the remaining parcel at the Lindale Garden Center, former Lindale Garden Center site. And that's all I've got for tonight.
Is that 24th of June or July?
The 24th of June,
Okay, thank you.
Tuesday.
Chair? If I could just ask, is that to hear a proposal by a developer, or is that other discussion about the site?
That's discussion with the property owner.
With the
So the
property
property owner is going to present on their efforts thus far and talk to the council and HRA about whether or not we want to open up some other options, explore other ways to move it forward.
Okay, thank you.
All right, item number 8, claims. Is there a motion to approve claims?
I'll move to approve claims.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Claims have been approved. And that takes us to adjournment, just as the rain is starting.